Hi, my name is Stefan and I'm going to show you how to set up Jenkins for PHP jobs on your own Debian server. You can find all the instructions on the jenkinsphp.org site, and although it looks very simple and straightforward, it can be a bit intimidating for those who don't know too much about Linux yet, or who are not very familiar with the entire process of setting up a Jenkins server. So what I did is I set up some automation scripts, so you just have to run a single script and then set up your entire server. You can find all these scripts on my GitHub page, and don't let the name fool you. It's called Perl Monkey, but it's going to set up a PHP server. You find two repositories that are related to this. One is the PHP CI repository. This one will actually set up your server. And the second one is a Yi sample project. This will provide as the first testing job for our Jenkins. It will test this sample project. It is based on the Yi framework for PHP. But of course, you can later on change and adapt it to any framework you want, be it the Zen framework, PHP, Igniter, CodeIgniter, Laravel, whatever, you name it. So we're going to go to the PHP CI project, and you need one file, and this is only the install.sh file. Since we are on Linux machines, we can just grab the file from the internet. What you need now is one Debian box, and this one Debian box can be a virtual machine, it can be a physical machine. All you have to do is you need access as root on this machine to bootstrap it. If you have it and can do SSH, then great. If not, well, then you can also sit right in front of it. What you need, however, is access to the internet. You need to grab a lot of files from the internet and packages. I strongly advise you, though, that this machine cannot be accessed from the internet, so that it's not exposed, that it sits behind a firewall, to be as secure as possible, since we are not going to implement any passwords on the Jenkins. So that means basically your source code will be freely available to the world in the worst case. We're gonna grab this install.sh file. Once we have that one, we can simply execute it. It asks us, do you want to continue? Again, the warning that if it's going to be exposed to the internet, then this is not a good idea. If you provide Y, then we can continue. Anything else will just stop the script. Due to the nature of how it works and that it uses Ansible in the background, and that there's an advanced way to use it and change the username so you don't have to have a root user involved in all this, the simple script that we use here asks you for your root password. If you don't want to provide it, then it's fine. You can always use the advanced way. Check the README file for that. But if you don't care about it, you just want to have an instance that works, have it as a showcase or something, don't be hesitant, enter your password. Mine is password, and that's about it. What it's doing now, it's going to grab a lot of packages. It's going to bootstrap the Python that is needed for Ansible. It's going to perform a test whether it can SSH to the machine. If that fails, the entire script will stop. Perhaps if you provide the wrong password, that could happen. So you would just rerun it, type in the password again to make sure that it didn't fail because of that. If it fails again, then you might want to check the README file to see what possible other ways you have to execute it. If it doesn't fail, then it will continue to set up a LAMP stack. So it will set up Apache, MySQL Server. It will also set up PHP, obviously, and a lot of PHP QA tools, like the PHP unit, PHP LOC, and Code Sniffer. You can also check the README file to see more about this. The Jenkins unit is going to be set up. A couple of plugins will be installed. And lastly, it will create one template job, one PHP template job that will grab the Yi project that we saw previously on the GitHub. And this Yi project is going to be built, and you will see some metrics around this. Of course, you can adjust any of these metrics. So if you don't want certain code styles applied to your project, or if you don't want any of these metrics at all, if you say, I don't want the lint phase, I don't want this, I don't want PHP unit to be executed, you can also remove this. You can run this script multiple times against the same server. It will not break anything. It might, however, take a little bit longer. You will see a lot of error messages along the way. As long as it executes and you don't see too much red here, you can be okay. In just a little bit, we will be able to access the Jenkins server. Okay, in my example, you can see there's a little bit of red here. So there obviously was an error. But nevertheless, if we switch over to the local Jenkins, we can see it was successfully installed. The thing that you saw that didn't work here was the automated start of the job. So what we can do now, we can have this Yi sample project. We can build it now, trigger a build by using the build now button. And if we go inside the builds, we can actually see the console output, see what it does, see the different stages it goes through. And in the end, it's going to be a successful build. And you can see in your project that you now have a couple of metrics. You have code coverage. Obviously, this is a very poorly tested project. It has a code coverage of 0%. You have a nice API documentation automatically created. You also have some violations where your code could be optimized, some stylistic things. And as I said, a lot of numbers. If those numbers are not really fit for your project, you can adjust all this. There are some very simple XML files you can change and adjust. But basically, that's it. That was all that you needed to do. Install sh was the magical file that set up your Debian box into a full-blown Jenkins PHP server. Don't forget, you can find it on GitHub. You can find it at perlmonkey/phpci. And also, if you have any ideas, enhancements, if you find any bugs, please feel free to open any issues. I'm happy to receive any pull requests. If you want to fork it, fork it. And if you want to start it, start it. And if you want to create a different project, for example, a sample project for Yi, Laravel, or anything else, drop me a line and I will add something that will create such a sample project as well. Thanks, and see you some other time.